Hey everybody, it's Anna, and today I am coming to you with the Guilty Reader tag. As you may have heard me mention in a previous video, I have no shame, so I'm afraid that if you are looking for deep, heartfelt expungements of bookish guilt, this is probably not the place. However, if you're looking for someone to sort of just gleefully emote about the types of guilty bookish things that they've done, then this is probably the video for you. I am not sure who the original creator of the tag is, so I will, if I find that out, link it down below. Otherwise, feel free to pull the questions from the video. I'll have those as well down in the description. So let's go ahead and get started. Question 1 is, have you ever re-gifted a book that you've been given? The answer is yes, absolutely. If it's a book that I know that I don't care about, or if it's a book that I read and then just didn't like, I have no problem with either re-gifting those books or donating them. I used to sell them to a local used bookstore. I've not been able to find one since moving to Seattle that I can resell old books to, but yeah, absolutely. Can't take up space on my shelves. That would be ridiculous. Okay, number 2, have you ever said you've read a book when you haven't? Again, yes, absolutely. This is usually more often have I said I've read a book when technically I've read it, but I haven't finished it. I've especially done that for some of my classes in college. Sorry, not sorry. Number 3 is, have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? Yes. Yes, I have. This is the book that I borrowed and didn't return the longest time ago. This is the Companion to Narnia by Paul F. Ford that I quote-unquote borrowed from one of my family members as a kid, and it's never gone back to that person because look at it. It's just this invaluable encyclopedia of anything you'd ever want to know about the Chronicles of Narnia and that bookish universe. Even though I've read the books multiple times, still never giving this one up. All right. Number 4, have you ever read a series out of order? I haven't done this intentionally, but the most notable exception, I believe, is when I read the Finnegan of the Rock series by Melina Marchetta. I read Froy of the Exiles first because I didn't know that it was part of a series. And then I think maybe I've read series where I'll read something that's the second or third book in the series if I don't know that it's part of a series. I don't think I've intentionally read a series out of order when I'm reading it for the first time. I'm not counting things like going back and rereading the series of unfortunate events out of order. When it's the first time, I like to read it in order, but if I'm rereading, I don't really care. Okay. Number 5, have you ever spoiled a book for someone? I don't think so. I've definitely had books spoiled for me. Most notably, my best friend at the time spoiled the fact that Sirius dies in Harry Potter and Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I was so angry at her, I legit almost hung up on her. We were talking over the phone, and I was furious that she spoiled that book for me. Still, maybe I'm holding a grudge. She also destroyed my favorite copy of Jane Eyre that was my first copy of Jane Eyre, and that may actually have signaled the end of our friendship, was just her wanton disregard for my beloved Jane. Anyway, moving on. Next question is, have you ever doggy-eared a book? Yes, absolutely, especially study copies of books that I've used for school. I don't really have a ton more of those with me anymore because I jettisoned a lot of them moving to Seattle, but I have absolutely dog-eared books. It just is really useful and honestly wastes less paper than doing something like adding sticky tabs. Although if it is a really nice book, I tend to only want to dog-ear my paperbacks. I don't dog-ear my hardcovers. I prefer to use sticky tabs for those or use sticky tabs for books that are special or old that I don't want to mess up. Okay, number 7, have you ever told someone you don't own a book when you do? No, I don't know why I would. Number 8, have you ever told someone you haven't read a book when you have? Have I? That sounds like a trick question. I've definitely done the reverse, where I've pretended that I have read a book when I haven't, but I don't think I've ever pretended I haven't read a book when I have. I don't know why I would want to do that. Number 9, have you ever skipped a chapter or a section of the book? Again, yes, absolutely. The workload when you study English in school is such that nobody can reasonably expect to finish all the assigned reading. So I've skimmed, I've skipped, I've focused on table of contents and indices over certain things. I guess one exception to this is like if I'm studying poetry, yes, I'll read the entire poem, even if it is a long poem. That's not the kind of literature that you can skip. But if it's like a novel or some type of like nonfiction book or work of literary criticism, yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's criticism, you can usually get by reading the first and last sentence of each paragraph. Wouldn't necessarily recommend that you do that all the time, but definitely I've found myself in like a time crunch where I've really had to get some reading done. And I have to skim. I wouldn't be able to survive if I didn't. Okay, and then the last question, number 10, have you ever bad-mouthed a book you actually liked? No, I'm not really apologetic about the things that I love. I love them unabashedly, so I do not know why I would do that ever. Yeah. Okay, thanks for watching the Guilty Reader tag. If you like my channel, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and clicking onto the subscribe button so you can see the next videos when I post. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.